Good morning, everyone. It is Tina Spalding, Trance Channel here, day 5 on our 40 days and 40 nights with Jesus. This is the morning session. So let's see what Jesus has to say to us today. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and your relationship with health and sickness, death and life need to be addressed here. You are an eternal spiritual being. That means that your consciousness lives on forever. You were before this body and you will be after this body. When you are in your pre-birth state, you orchestrate and organize the blueprint for your life with your guides and teachers. Often you will want to experience something and your guides and teachers will say, you actually aren't ready for that yet, evolutionarily speaking. We're going to suggest that you do this instead. They may say, we would like you to do this in this incarnation because of these particular shortcomings that you've experienced in other incarnations. And you will say, oh no, that's way too frightening for me. I can't do that. And then they will say, well, how about we do it in a small way? How about we give you a small taste of that thing that frightens you? And further down in your life, we'll give you another taste. And over time, you will become acclimated to that which you need to learn. And you will agree or disagree. Eventually, you will come up with a plan for this incarnation that gives you all of the experiences, connections, people, places, things that you will benefit from in your evolutionary journey. Now, what happens to free will with these things? Well, you have free will when you are orchestrating these things. Many of you use your free will from the higher self, the self that is not overly encumbered by the ego, to choose experiences and events that will benefit your spiritual evolution. Some of these may even be things like car accidents or sicknesses or crises. So when you're in your ego mind, once you come into separation, once you come into an embodied state and the veil of forgetting takes over, then you are in the ego state. You are in the truly separated mind, but you always have the invisible umbilical cord connection to wisdom, to your guides and teachers, to the understanding of that blueprint. The blueprint will speak to you through interests, desires, curiosities. You will always want to go towards that which is in your blueprint. This may even be beings who are what your ego would consider bad for you or difficult to handle, because in your blueprint, they have been assigned the task of challenging your beliefs or pushing you into a direction that you find difficult to handle. So, for example, you may be quite passive in your demeanor, and you will have in your blueprint somebody coming into your life who's a little bit of a bully. Well, in the sacred contract that you came into being having signed, you knew on a higher level that these beings were going to come to quote unquote harass you. But what the bully is asking of you is to stand up into your power. What the bully is asking of you is to be stronger, because that's a weakness you have had in other incarnations. And you have set up a situation where you have felt, and your guides and teachers have felt, that this being will cause you to stand up stronger than is your natural tendency. This is what's happening in this incarnation for many of you. Many of you have had a multitude of incarnations where you have been dominated or bullied. You have not managed to stand up to those perpetrators. And as this is the end of a spiritual season, which is we will go into in some other transmission, but this is the end of a spiritual season. You are being given the opportunity to remedy many things from many incarnations, because final decisions are being made about whether or not you're going to graduate. Now, anyone who is in the ego mind will feel fear at this idea of graduation. It is a ripening. It is a harvest. It is the ascension process. You are all being given an opportunity to release those things from your mind which are unloving. But they are in your mind, residing in your mind, living in your mind, fed by your behaviors and your habits, because they are old friends. They are dear friends from other incarnations. And so this lifetime, this particular generation is being offered an opportunity to stand in their power, to become sovereign beings once again, and to refuse to bow down to the bully. So this is what you are being given the opportunity to play out in this end of season game. The end of season is the reason, the end of the spiritual season is the reason you are seeing such forceful implementation of draconian measures, because there is a knowing within the hearts and minds of those who are, we will say, on the dark side of the yin and yang symbol. This is a place of relativity, this three-dimensional experience that you're having. It is a place of separation. And when you think of the yin and yang symbol, you will see that there is a dark shape and a light shape that together become one. And that is what you must remember. And yet, in the dark shape, there is a little tiny dot of white, and in the white shape, there is a little tiny dot of dark. Together, there is oneness, and that is what you must come to see here. There is a game that is being played out between the dark and the light that requires opposition because it is a dualistic time and place. You, however, can rise above the dualistic time and place, but you must accept what is happening within dualism and not be bowled over by it. And this is what's happening to many of you. Many of you are going into fear. Many of you are predicting terrible and dire futures. But what is actually happening is you are being given the opportunity to take back your sovereignty. And what this means is that you must, to graduate this 3D experience, this end of season, we will say, graduation examination, you must own your own power. You must own your own ability to create. You must master yourselves. So throughout history, many masters have come back, bodhisattvas, to teach you, to bring forth information, to help you master your own minds and consequently your own bodies. You do not master your bodies, you master your minds, and the bodies follow along behind. The body is neutral. It only ever does what you tell it, consciously and subconsciously. So many of you who will have bodies that seem to be betraying you, they are not betraying you. They are responding to subconscious or unconscious beliefs that you hold about yourself, about your body, about health, about your value, about love, all of these subjects. So this is why A Course in Miracles is so important at this time. It was designed to help you through this time. 50 or so years ago, this book was brought into being for the galactic acceleration, which is what is happening at this time. You cannot graduate from this course being this end of season challenge that you are being offered. You cannot graduate from this course if you are sucked down into fear and duality and into the battleground. You must be wise enough and educated enough to pursue heaven on earth. You must be wise enough and educated enough to collaborate with your families and friends to support and love each other. You must be wise and educated enough to understand that you are sovereign and you are powerful. This is the lesson that we are here to teach you in these 40 days and 40 nights. And we will repeat it incessantly because you have been brainwashed incessantly. You have been brainwashed incessantly into believing that your bodies are your enemies or your gods. They are neither. They are neutral devices for communication that will follow along a healthy mind. So if you want to be healthy, live long and prosper, Master your mind. Listen to our teachings as we go through them over the next few weeks, and you will begin to become stronger, more fierce, more loving, more generous, less malleable, and determined to live a life of joy and happiness. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and I will speak to you again later today. Woohoo! All right, my lovelies, thank you for joining me today or this morning. I will see you later today.